let's talk about an extraordinary situation where the Law Commission late last week called for an extension of hate crime laws to effectively ban Mohammed cartoons. Of course, remember the Charlie Hebdo case, effectively bringing in a brand new blasphemy law. Let's talk to Andrew Tettenborn, who's a professor of law at Swansea University. Good morning to you. Good morning. And can you explain to us, how this would actually work? Because we did used to have blasphemy laws. You weren't allowed to be, rude about the Church of England because, it's a national religion. But this would effectively outlaw sort of mockery of religion where it would offend Muslims. But as far as I can tell, it wouldn't necessarily stop mockery of any other religion. A blasphemy law by the back door.
It's exactly a blasphemy law by the back door. We got rid of the offence in 2001. This is now saying, or would say, that anything you say which is likely to create religious hatred against any religion is potentially criminal and is liable to put you inside for 7 years. It would certainly include the Mohammed cartoons. It would go further as well. Do you remember the Satanic Verses?
I do,
case?
Yes.
Well, as far as I can see, it's perfectly conceivable that would have made Salman Rushdie liable to end up in clink for 7 years for publishing that book, because that's clearly abusive. It's clearly abusive of religion. It's arguably likely to cause religious hatred. You don't have to have any intent to cause religious hatred. It certainly would give the police a chance to knock on Salman Rushdie's door.
I mean, this is extraordinary because he faced a fatwa from the Iranian mullahs for writing that book. But this thing is, one of the key parts of living in democracy in a country with free speech is that you have the right to mock, in particular, people in power. We're allowed to mock the government. We're allowed to mock royalty. We're allowed to mock senior figures in religion. We're also specifically allowed to mock religious belief, the ideology, the system behind it, and the organisations. You're allowed to mock individuals. What you're not allowed to do currently under law is to incite hatred or violence against people because of their religious belief. And I'm very, very happy to sign up to those laws. But this is what's bizarre, is that to even question and mock some of the tenets of Islam, or indeed any other religion, and I as an atheist would happily question an awful lot of the tenets of every religion, that would become a crime. Now, this is such an infringement on our free speech rights. I find it extraordinary that the Law Commission, of all people, should be wanting to encourage this. But this sort of protection of philosophical belief, effectively religious or non-religious. Where is this pressure coming from? Who is demanding this?
I think probably it's a question of the government passing on a political hot potato. What happens is that you've got some pressure group that says Islam is an oppressed class, or a particular religious minority suffers from oppression. We need heightened hate crime laws. Can't the government do something about it? What the government, of course, does is pass it on to the Law Commission on the basis that it can then say, well, it's being looked at by the experts. Unfortunately, the Law Commission have now come out saying not simply that it should be a criminal offence deliberately to foment religious hatred, but to say anything that might foment religious hatred.
And we've had claims of Islamophobia about even people discussing, I mean, again, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, has been accused of Islamophobia, even by a former deputy chairman of the Conservative Party, Saeed Avazi, for mocking the burqa, which I think is absolutely an item of clothing that should be mocked. And I didn't like this talking about women looking like letterboxes or robbers and things. I didn't like that. It's not language I would personally use myself. But he was actually defending the right of women to wear this absurd garment. And again, I find the garment hugely offensive as a woman. The idea that women need to hide away to not risk getting raped. I'm sorry. just unacceptable in the Western world in our terms of our values. But the idea that itself would be a hate crime, to question the tenets of a religion which are specifically sort of very much not in line with the values that we have in this country in terms of the rights of women and equality and things, that is very troubling, isn't it?
It's extremely troubling. It would also, of course, have a number of other knock-on effects if you think about it. It might mean, for example, that you couldn't buy Charlie Hebdo in this country. Because if you're a distributor, Charlie Hebdo will happily mock any religion it likes, including, incidentally, Christianity. And the distributors might very well say, well, sorry, we can't handle this in case we get a knock on the door from the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah. Really quite terrifying times. How can people deal with this, though? I mean, this feels like these sort of things are being brought in over our heads without any public demand or public support. What can people do about it?
I think the answer is scream very loud and very long against what the Law Commission is saying. Yeah. I've been doing that. I've been writing in places like Spiked Online, if I can give that a plug, which is one of the best forums for free speech in this country.
I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. We'll have to leave it there. Andrew Tettenborn, a Professor of Law at Swansea University. Apologies, that was quite a quiet line, but I hope you could hear all right. Thank you very much indeed to him.